Hello and welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor and tonight I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. This is a horoscope for Libra. If Libra is your solar, lunar, ascendant / rising sign, then this is a message for you. All right, let's get started. And so Libra, tonight we have the 8 of Wands, which has everything to do with swiftness. Okay, things going fast, 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 right? I love this card because it's all rainbowy. It has all the electricity. It's just like, okay, we're in warp speed right now. All right, let's go ahead and take a look here. So immediately I see we have a dollar sign up here. And so, yeah, I think money is going to be something that's definitely on the mind. It is often for most of us, isn't it? All right. And so if you have not subscribed yet, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. And I'm just going to kind of turn this. Also, if you want to hit the like button or leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. I haven't filmed in like 2 days. I had the stomach flu. So, and if you're familiar with my husband's channel over at Dove and Serpent Tarot, my husband Paul, he's had like a respiratory thing. So we're just kind of, we're in that full preschool germ zone right now. But you know what? I feel like at least I did, and my daughter, my husband's thing's been lingering a little bit, but we bounced back really quick. So I'm hoping that it's better than last year, that we'll just get over our little sicknesses really quick. All right, so I want to take a look right up here. We have, it looks like the head of a dragon, okay? And you can kind of see the body going down into here. I'm almost like thinking of a dragon that's kind of laying around, right? Hanging out, taking a nap, you know, doing its thing. But then if you look right here, it looks like we have another dragon. Here's the head, here's the body, here are the wings in flight, okay? So I feel like this is a big, I mean, it feels like this year has been a lot of stopping, going. You know, you take 2 steps forward and 3 steps back. It's just been tough, right? And, right, we're in the year of the dragon. So that's why we bring this up. We're also in the full moon right now. As I am doing this recording, the moon is full. And it is the full beaver moon. So, beautiful. I was looking out there last night. I live next to a lake. It was shining on the lake. It was so gorgeous. I was really sick. But I took a moment to stare out the window and say thank you to the divine. Thank you for showing me something so beautiful. And so I feel like for you, it's been a lot of just, can we get this going, please, right? Like, let's just all work together, right? Delegate some of the parts of this task or this big thing that is going on, and let's get it done. But it feels like it's just been constant, you know, things getting in the way. Immediately I'm thinking, like, are you building a house or like renovating, or, you know, have the family been like getting together to like help do something with mom or dad's property, or, you know, something? Because if you've ever had any kind of work done on your house, or if you've built a house, now I haven't, of course I haven't. that is like, that's some real rich people stuff right now. Do people have houses built anymore? I don't know. They probably do, I guess. But yeah, I imagine lots of stopping, a lot of timelines being stretched, right? And so I just feel a frustration, underlying frustration. You want to get this thing going, you want to get to the finish line, right? And I see you going from this kind of more sedate, laid back, it'll get done when it gets done, to this, oh my gosh, let me look at my clock. Okay, we have about 6 more weeks and then the year is over. So let's get to work, right? And yeah, so I do. And I see you calling upon people in your life, okay? We have a person standing right up here. Okay, now we have a face down here as well, and we have another person right up here, okay, and I just keep getting this feeling of, and we have kind of almost, it looks like a skeleton head right here, eyes, nose, kind of like large right here. Real energy of the desert right in here. You can see the cactus, the little cars. So I'm like almost in my mind having this imagery of kind of like deserty area, the cliffs, and the cliffs there are faces and they are sorrowful. They feel like it's like a mourning, like a wailing, like a moaning going on, like just kind of, was that the wind, or was the house creaking, or what was that sound, right? And I feel like, I feel like this must be in your dreamland, right? In your interior landscape. But there's this feeling of having the same dreams over and over, and they're not necessarily bad. I don't think this is like you're having night terrors, but I feel like there is just, it's like, okay, so back in the day, right, I had all this stuff happen in my life, and it was hard, and it was terrible, and it was devastating, right? And around that time, I chose to go into recovery, right, from substances, mostly opiates. And so that was a process, right? Just like actually getting clean and trying to figure out how do you stay clean, all that, right? Well, the next, I would say, year or two after I had gone through all the physical, started therapy, I was in meetings for at least like a year at this point, I started having dreams about going back to school. Now, not necessarily any school I had been to in real life, but this feeling of like, I'm going back to high school, then I was going to college, and in these dreams, I was being taught things, like spiritual downloads, right? I wasn't really necessarily learning, the stuff that we would study in a public high school like I went to, but stuff about, the cosmos, about my soul, about archetypes, about, my family, my parents, my histories, all this kind of stuff. And I'm not saying I recalled every last bit of it, but there was a lot that I brought back with me in the forward part of my brain and my conscious mind. And I believe that when we are going through these moments in our life where we are not just like transitioning from one part of our life to the next, I mean, it's like, okay, act 1 is done, right? We've done all of the scenes. Now we're going into act 2, maybe even act 3, right? You never know. Who knows? But yeah, it's this, if you have any idea about plays, right? There are acts, and then within the act there are scenes. Okay, so you could think of it almost as like a very distinct chapter, right? And so I feel like for you, you are going through a huge life rite of passage, going from one part of your life, maybe as a young adult, into, you know, real adulthood, or maybe real adulthood into middle age, or middle age into, you know, almost kind of that retirement age, or what, if anybody can retire anymore. I don't know. That might be a myth as well. I have no idea. People building houses and retiring from work, who the heck? I don't even know. That sounds like a fairy tale to me. I don't know about you. But yeah, so I feel like you are going through this life change. You're having these dreams. And there's just a real feeling of it being tied to a desert landscape. And it feels like you are going through a period of maybe working through some melancholy, some underlying, maybe kind of depressive feelings, or feelings of blockage, of not really knowing, like, I know I want to get going, I know I want to get started, I know this has to get done, but I cannot for the life of me figure out how to do that. Right? I think we've all been there once or twice, or maybe quite often, right? And so these dreams begin happening. You're starting to, you know, go to these places again and again, and maybe even meeting the same intelligences, maybe having similar lessons night after night. And I do feel like this is an opportunity for you to start really partaking in this dream time. Okay, now you might already be like a lucid dreamer, somebody who does a lot of work within your dreams, but you might be like the rest of us, right? Well, I do a lot of dream work, but the majority of people, right? Who, yeah, sometimes remember part of your dreams, and that's good enough. And you know, I go to sleep, Lenor. I go to sleep to get some dang rest. I'm not trying to work in my sleep, you know. But right, it is a missed opportunity. It is. We have so much time within these dreams because it's outside of time and space. So there's this opportunity to be doing this interior work, to be traveling, to be learning, to be experiencing. And so often we fully neglect that. We don't even neglect it. We just abandon it, right? We take zero advantage of this opportunity. I like to call my dreams my laboratory, right? Because that's where the magic really gets played out. Okay, so if you are interested in beginning to have a more active role in your dream space, let's begin with, right, dream recall and getting yourself awake in your dreams. Okay, the first step to that is getting that pad of paper, getting something to write with, putting it next to your bed. As soon as you wake up, even if it's 3 in the morning, even if it's for just a moment, you're going to go use the bathroom and come back, write down any words, any impressions, colors, smells, sensations, whatever it is. It doesn't have to be coherent. It doesn't have to mean anything. Just write it down and continue to do so. Okay? Stay the course for at least a month. And start to notice, am I remembering my dreams more? And do I feel like I am more involved in my dream? I'm not just like a witness that's showing up, right? No, I'm like fully immersed in these dreams. I am living a life in these dreams, okay? And no, it doesn't come easily to everybody. And yes, does it seem tedious sometimes? Absolutely. But is it worth the work? I think so. I absolutely think so. So the other part of this, as we were talking about, I feel like there are people in your life who you have stopped asking for help from, right? Family members, maybe parents, siblings, your own kids, maybe they're adults. But it's gotten to the point where, and let me just be clear, I don't think that you have ever wanted to ask for assistance. You know, if it's like, hey, can you come over and help me, you know, paint the bedroom or whatever, or something along these, like, I'm not just saying money, right? That's the first thing that comes to mind. Money, a place to stay, that kind of thing. No, that's not exactly what I mean. I just mean, like, I need you to watch the kids. Can you come over and help me, you know, get the house ready for Christmas, or, you know, Hanukkah, or another one, any of the holidays. I mean, there's so many coming up, right? So many. I was just doing my list earlier with my husband, Paul. We're having all these different events and stuff. I shouldn't call it an event, but we're doing like a cookie decorating party for a bunch of little kids, a bunch of preschoolers, and, you know, these kinds of things. So, it's a lot, isn't it? But yeah, sometimes we need to ask for help. And I feel like this is it. You have 3 people. You have 3 people in your life who really show up for you. But I feel like in some ways you get stuck in this landscape of, like, nobody wants to help, or I don't want to bother them. I don't want, you know, to ruin their day. They probably aren't going to answer anyways. Kind of, and I am not throwing any kind of shade at you, Libra, because I am the master of doom thinking. Absolutely I am. But yeah, kind of like in this defeatist mindset. You know, I feel like you are already condemning the dang thing before you even go and do the ask. Here's the other thing, is that I think that you show up for everybody else all the time. And very, very, very rarely have you ever asked for somebody to help you. Okay? So, you know, that maybe isn't a good reason, or doesn't make you feel like, oh, this will be fine. But it's part of the equation, isn't it? Sometimes we have to remind ourselves, you know, we too are worthy of being helped. We too need some help sometimes. We too, you know, might just want to have the company while we're doing whatever we're doing. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. We live in a world that has gotten far away from the idea of the community helping one another. I think, you know, and that's a sweeping statement, right? It's very general. But I do feel like, you know, there are movements towards getting back to reconnecting with one another more and more. You know, social media, online, all this stuff is so new. And I feel like it has really... it's allowed us to be very interconnected, but a lot of people very lonely, you know. And especially people who are younger, who have grown up online. And that's how they know how to socialize for the most part. But it's not exactly the same, is it? You know, it just doesn't, it's not. And not to say that it's not I'm fully an internet person. I met my husband. I have met both my husbands online. My first husband, my late husband, I should say, and the husband I have right now. My wonderful, beautiful dove and serpent, Paul. You know, so I'm not against socializing on the internet, not at all. But I do feel it needs to be balanced. And, you know, sometimes when we do reach out to our peoples, right, and we find reasons to work together instead of trying to do the whole thing ourselves, it brings us closer together. And I can see if you find it within yourself to start communicating, asking for that help, you know, and not only that, being able to delegate some of the work, right? Things will get done more quickly. And I feel like that's what all this is about. This anxiety, this underlying feeling of, I feel stuck. I feel like the wheels are spinning and they aren't getting any traction. Well, what do we do? Because it's not working this way. So maybe we need some different eyes. Maybe we need some other input. Maybe we just need somebody to be standing next to us while we, you know, do the thing that we got to get done. Right? And that's okay. And that is okay. All right, let's take a look here. Oh, yes, the letter H. I just want to say H is a big letter this week. Okay, lots of H's. And they were in here. But now I put the water in, so that was my next thing to hit on. Okay, so we have the letter B, but we also have like it looks like maybe an anniversary coming up of some kind, and it seems like an important one. Probably a marriage anniversary, because we have two people embracing, and it looks like a king and a queen. So I'm guessing that this is a unified partnership, okay, of some kind. And we have the letter Z-E-A, if that means anything to you. So we have this anniversary coming up. We have a person, it looks like, waving, leaving the house. We have the mailbox over here, so we do have news coming. And I want to find out. Let's take a look. I feel like there's some kind of little journey coming up, and it has to do with some kind of news reaching you. So we're going to just go ahead. We're going to do our Oracle of the Radiant Sun. I'm going to flip through and stop where it feels right. We're just going to see. What does this have to do with? Concentration. Ooh, there is a risk. Okay, so to stay very focused. You gotta stay very focused, because this isn't an easy thing. We also have somebody who's using flattery and excitement, appreciation. Now, what is the last one gonna be? Acquisition. Okay, so I feel like we have a real charming person or situation happening here. It feels risky, but I think that you really, oh my gosh, there's such an attraction, and excitement. And ultimately, I feel like you see that it's all very genuine, this whole thing. I almost feel like it's kind of like falling in love again, or falling in love with somebody that you've known. Like, have you ever like been on a team at work or at school or whatever, and or in a partnership, like your lab partner, right? And it's just like, whatever, you know, I know this dude, I know this chick from, you know, we've been going to school together for years. Well, you get put into this partnership, and you start working together, and it's been a couple months, and you're finally got like a good rapport, and then it kind of starts to get a little bit flirty, a little bit of flattery happening. Now you're kind of excited to go to this class, kind of excited to go to work, to go to school, to go to wherever they are. And I feel like you start to really kind of see, it's like the veil has been lifted all this time right in front of me. Somebody who I really get along with, somebody who we really dig each other. We just vibe. We have wonderful conversations. We work well together. We're attracted to each other, and all of that. Okay. Now, acquisition. I don't love the word for this, but it does feel like maybe a moment, at least, of this realization of this attraction really kind of, not only being stated, but maybe even realized. Maybe you get that date. Maybe you end up getting married. Maybe you have been married to this person since high school, But I do feel like in this time coming up here, there is kind of some energy that is really just kind of drawing you together. I feel like the universe, your guides, really wanting you to indulge this relationship. Now, it doesn't have to be romantic. This could be a good friend. This could be your best friend. This could be like, that platonic soulmate that we all hope to have. And yeah, so I do. I think that this is going to be kind of a really big focus, right? As we move into this next period of time. And I feel like this is going to be something that really adds to your overall happiness, excitement, your motivation and inspiration. Now, I'm not saying that you only derive these from another person. But let's face it, when we're feeling pretty good about life, when we're pretty excited about things, it spills over into all sectors of our life. So yes, I see this as being like a really, really nice little, now I was going to say dalliance, but it's not a dalliance. This is a nice connection, okay? Now we're going to do our 3 lucky numbers. 95, number 95, 82, 95, oh, where'd it go? 82, 82, 39. Beautiful. All right. Now we're going to end with our Mary Magdalene Oracle cards. And these kind of just punctuate the reading. And I'm just going to go ahead. We're going to flip through, stop where it feels right. And it says, the breath. I reclaim my soul. I reclaim my soul. Yes. You can stand on that one for sure. I reclaim my soul. Scream that from the freaking mountaintops. Go outside and tell it to the birds, I reclaim my soul. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, Libra, I want to go ahead and tell you I love you because I do. And I thank you so much for spending this time with me. It is always such an honor to be able to bring these messages to you. And if you would be so kind as to like the video, it helps the channel a lot. And if you haven't subscribed, please think about doing that. You can hit that little bell. It'll let you know when the next readings are coming out. It is free to subscribe. Also, if you would like to leave a comment, I would love to hear from you. Also, I just keep feeling, I keep feeling it because in my mind I can feel it, a soft blue blanket. I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but there's something about a blue blanket and I'm seeing it almost like on it. It's like I almost wonder if it's a blanket that you got as a child, if somebody made you, like a quilt or a little blanket or something. But it feels like it's like a... So whoever made it for you, they've passed. And I don't know if something got ruined on it or if it got lost or I feel like there's such a sadness around like some blemish or, something about this blanket. And I feel like there's just this really overwhelming feeling of like, don't worry about the thing. It's not about the thing, the physical thing. It's about the fact that you know that I love you. And that's what it symbolizes. I love you. I am with you. I'm always with you. So if that is for you, I hope that brings a little ease to your heart, because it's not about the blanket. It's about the person who made it for you and their love for you. And they're always with you. They're always with you. All right. Good night.